Welcome everyone to today's presentation. This will be the first discussion lecture of the semester, and today's purpose is not to go over any content to the course, but instead help you get oriented. This will be a continuation essentially of the pre-semester orientation video that you should have already watched that was present or posted in the Start Here folder. And today we're going to go over the syllabus. I'm going to go over the resources for the course, go over how to prepare for the first lab, which will be similar to all the future labs. As well, I'll also go over supplemental instruction and a number of other tips to help you feel successful and get started with great success. So again, this is Dr. McCauley. You'll be hearing my voice throughout the semester and looking forward to getting this semester started. Just a couple of things, and then I'll be showing you around my screen. But just a few reminder things. Make sure that you have purchased your Blossom textbook code. That is in the MCC bookstore. And as you have received from my messages, there is a back order on the Pearson bundle. I'll tell you more about that in a second. Make sure, though, that you have put your order into the bookstore. So if you have not let the bookstore know that you need a Pearson bundle, be sure to contact them via email or through calling or going over to the store on Monday. And make sure that when those books come in, that they will be contacting you upon their arrival. So we're going to go over the syllabus a little bit, but here are basically the resources that you are going to be getting this semester. In the package that you are going to get from Pearson, again, the one that is back ordered, in there you're going to get a laboratory atlas. It's a black book like this. It has a heart on the front, both a cadaveric heart and a model of a heart. This will be an atlas that you'll bring to lab each and every week. We don't need it the first couple of weeks, so it's okay. There's also going to be about an inch thick lab manual. This is authored by Green. It's also a green colored book. So when I say the green lab manual, I'm referring to this big wire bound lab manual. Again, that is in your Pearson bundle. And finally, within your Pearson bundle with these two books, there's going to be a cardboard card of sorts, and that is going to include your access code for Mastering Anatomy and Physiology. This is critical, a critical component to this semester. The great news is that there's a 2-week free trial that you can initiate for Mastering A&P, and the books will be in before that 2-week free trial runs out. So you can get started, and it's necessary that you do get started as soon as possible. There are assignments due starting next Tuesday, and there's also an assignment that you'll need to complete before you go to your first lab. Some of you have Tuesday lab, so you need to get into mastering, complete the mastering assignment, and complete that pre-lab assignment. I'll tell you more about that. So everything in this column that I'm showing you, these are all things that are part of that bundle. In addition, your textbook for this semester is the Blossom Anatomy and Physiology Experience. This is not a hard copy book. This is an online e-text, and that comes with a different access code that's available in the bookstore now. And there is no 2-week free trial for that. So it's necessary that you go and get that, and I'll show you how to activate that in a moment. Then finally, something you do not get in the bookstore, something you'll be printing on your own, is the laboratory supplement. So there's about 65 pages of handouts, basically. This is everything from your pre-lab instructions to the sequence of events we're doing for each lab, as well as a bunch of handouts and tables and charts that you'll be filling out. That packet is linked. I'll show you where that link is in a moment. And you'll print that out on your own. You have a few options for that. You can, of course, use your own printer, but there's also an MCC copy center. You can send it through a link and send it to them. They'll print it for you, and they'll have it waiting for you on campus the next day. You can also go on campus to the library where they have computers and printers for your use as well. So that is not something you'll purchase, but something that you will print out on your own. And it is critical that you have that with you starting on First Lab at least through page 12. I suggest you just print the whole thing, but if you are in a pinch, at least print through page 12 for the first week. Now, I'll go through the syllabus, we'll go through the procedures and the policies in a moment. I'll go through how you get your grade. I'll go through the vocabulary, the medical terminology components of this course. We'll go through the course calendar, and I will encourage you to mark your calendars so that you have all of the test dates and all the important dates on your master personal calendar. Let me just share just a few words about myself, and then we'll jump over into Blackboard and take a closer look at all of the things in the course. So this is going into my 14th year at Muskegon Community College. I'm in the Department of Life Sciences, and for the last 5 years have also been chair of the department. My travels to get to Muskegon are interesting, I think. This is the journey that I've been on. But I received my undergraduate degree, my bachelor's degree, from the University of Florida. That was in microbiology and cell science. At that point, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to go into, if I wanted to go into research or industry or academic research. So to help me with that journey, I went on and finished my master's degree also in microbiology and cell sciences. In my master's degree, I did research on alternative energy sources. This is even before alternative energy sources was a cool thing. And then decided during my master's program that I really wanted to go into more of a medical, human biology related field. So I transferred to the University of Florida College of Medicine, and there received my PhD in medical sciences. My emphasis there was very broad, and I did work in both developmental biology, but also a lot of work in wound healing. So I have a collection of publications that sort of span two major areas, like I said, developmental biology as well as in wound healing. From the finishing of my PhD, my first faculty position was at the Department of Genetics and Cell Biology. This was at Washington State University in Spokane, Washington. So I jumped all the way from the southeast corner to the northwest corner of the U.S. And after a few years there, my wife, who's also a professor, received an invitation to join the faculty at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. So we were in Tuscaloosa for a number of years. From there, we went to Oklahoma, where I was on faculty at Oklahoma Wesleyan University. My wife was at the University of Tulsa. And then most recently, our last move coming to Michigan, I was on faculty at Ferris State, and my wife was on faculty at Calvin College. And a few years after we got here, that switched to her going over to Grand Valley State University. She's now a professor of speech pathology there. So if any of you are interested in studying speech pathology, you'll definitely be meeting my wife at some point if you choose to apply to Grand Valley. There's always a few students from MCC who find their way to Grand Valley and into that fantastic program. In addition to Ferris State in the area, I've also been on faculty for a number of years at the Michigan State University College of Human Medicine, which is based in downtown Grand Rapids. I have 5 great kids, two of whom attended classes at MCC and got their associates here, and another son who's taken some extra classes here in the summers. My oldest finished the nursing program here at MCC, finished her BSN at Grand Valley, and is currently a couple semesters away from finishing her doctorate, focusing as a neonatal nurse practitioner. My second daughter finished her associates at MCC, went on to Grand Valley, studied biomedical sciences, was accepted to the University of Central Florida College of Medicine, and has finished her medical degree and is now an emergency room physician in Ocala, Florida. My third child did his finance degree at Grand Valley and is now a financial planner with Merrill Lynch in downtown Grand Rapids. My fourth child is an engineering student in mechanical engineering at Grand Valley, wants to go into automotive engineering of some sort. And my baby is an eighth grader going into high school. He is studying in the Chinese immersion program. So he's been taking Mandarin now for 9 years and will be a early college student with Western Michigan in the Chinese program. So all of his Chinese classes in the high school are taught by Western Michigan faculty, and he'll be earning a minor in Chinese language while he is in high school. So it's a kind of a cool opportunity for him. So as you see, I'm busy, and I want to see you all be successful in your academic pursuits. You are in a great place. Muskegon Community College, our life sciences department, nursing department, respiratory therapy, and all of the different programs that you all are planning to move into, you are getting a fantastic start here at MCC. I have taught not only at Ferris, but I've also have a lot of information about the courses being taught at GRCC and at Calvin College and at Cornerstone and at Grand Valley and Ferris State. And I can line up this course against any of the courses in our area. Just know you are in good hands and you are learning the material necessary to be successful in your future courses. When you sign up for your Padlet introduction, I encourage you to write down a little bit about yourself, but also introduce yourself. What programs of study are you anticipating or planning to go into? Give me some of that detail. I'm always curious to know where you all are heading and why you are taking anatomy and physiology. So with that said, let's start jumping over into the course, and I am going to head on over, and we're just going to get started here from the very beginning. So let's head over to my MCC, and after you log in, you are going to hit the Blackboard tile. Okay, the Blackboard tile is going to bring you into Blackboard, and we'll show you the courses that you are enrolled in. What you're looking for this summer is this one, 2022 Summer Human Anatomy Biology 152. As we go into the Blackboard shell, this Blackboard shell is being used by everyone this summer. There are 3 different groups of you. One group is, I forget the numbers, I think it's SO1. I don't worry about the numbers assigned by the school, but that is the group that meets on campus on Tuesday mornings, right? Tuesday mornings with Dr. Curtis. That is the only face-to-face lab this semester. And then some of you have a lab with Dana, and Dana is teaching a lab synchronously on Wednesday nights, and that is a lab that you'll join via Zoom from wherever you are. And then I am teaching a group of students lab on Thursday evenings, also via Zoom. For those synchronous Zoom labs, you'll be logged into your computer for the 3.5-hour lab period, and you only attend 1 lab a week. So you attend the lab that you signed up for, either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And so let's go ahead and let's take a look at the syllabus. So in the navigation bar within Blackboard, I have a link for the syllabus. And it says Combined Syllabus. And this is going to bring us over to a program called Simple Syllabus, whereby you're going to see the syllabi for all the courses. The reason this says combined is that further down, you're going to see the instructor information for all 3 sections, okay? So everything you need is here. Everyone will be using the same syllabus. So let's just go through a few things. This is a 4-credit class. It's 6 hours a week. Basically, it's 3 hours of lab and 3 hours of lecture time. That is just instructional time. In addition to those 6 hours a week, you should plan on, and this is going to sound excessive, but this is the reality for anatomy and physiology courses around the country, you should plan on at least 10 additional hours a week of work. That's going to include studying. That's going to include your supplemental instruction. That's going to include the time that you're preparing for your labs and studying for quizzes, the time you're doing your homework and mastering, the time that you're interacting with the Blossom textbook, the times that you are also answering questions in the Blossom textbook. But neuroscience tells us that for a course like anatomy and physiology, where there's so much to learn and so many details and facts to learn, you need to learn and listen to everything at least 7 times. At least 7 times. And that's a minimum, right? That's not the goal, that's the minimum. So to get to 7 times, that means that you're listening to me talk through it in lecture discussions, you're listening to your lab instructor, you're watching the pre-lab videos, you are doing the homework for lab, you're doing the discussion and supplemental instruction, you are doing the homework in Blossom. And already right there, we've provided for you 5, 6, 7 different opportunities, plus the time that you'll be working on your own time to study in addition. So I just wanted to set you up for success. Make sure that you're being honest with yourself, you're looking at your schedule, and you are carving out some times where you can study. Keep in mind, those don't have to be big blocks of time. You can do an hour here, an hour there. And for some of us, it's 20 minutes here and 20 minutes there. So always have your phone with you or your laptop, or be somewhere where, or maybe your lab book or something with you, so that when you do have an opportunity, you can crack it open and get in some quality study time. So let's take a look at the syllabus here. I'm not going to read this to you. Just encourage you to read through it. I've already asked you to read through the syllabus. Here are the course objectives. These are the main ideas of what you should be able to do by the time you finish this course. This is a human anatomy course. So we're primarily dealing with the anatomy of the body. We will be throwing in just a little bit of physiology here and there. Students who finish Biology 152 are then eligible to go on to Biology 252, which is human physiology. Human physiology paired with this course, human anatomy, is required by most programs. So most of you will have a 2-semester anatomy and physiology sequence that you'll complete. Here is that all-important information for instructors. If you have a question, and that question is about any of the details of lecture, any of the components of the textbook, anything about just the general scheduling, I am the person to reach out to, and you'll want to contact me here. The phone number goes to the Department of Life Sciences. I don't recommend calling the number. Email is the way that I am most easily reached, and I respond to my email very quickly. Office hours this summer are by appointment. We can talk via Zoom, face-to-face. We can just talk on the phone, but don't be, please just know you can reach out to make appointments. I am teaching the lab section on Thursday nights, which officially is section S04. And there are some spots in that lab section as of yesterday. There were still a few openings, so if you want to switch to that lab section, that is a possibility. The other 2 labs are full at this point. Dr. Anita Curtis is teaching the Tuesday morning section, that is S01. And again, her email is here. And then Dana is teaching, here's her contact information, and she is teaching the Wednesday evening lab online through Zoom, and that is S03. There's some information in here about exams. All exams this semester will be offered online through Blackboard using a program called Respondus Lockdown Browser with Monitor. This program is an anti-cheating program that you'll need to download onto your computer, and then you will access the course Blackboard shell through that through Respondus Lockdown Browser. It's like another Chrome or another Firefox. You're going to be using Respondus Lockdown Browser to access the courses or access the Blackboard shell when you are taking exams. You've been given instructions about this. If you're having trouble with loading Respondus or working with Respondus, the IT department at MCC are the folks to reach out to. I am not a technology expert. This program works on Macs, it works on Chromebooks, it works on PCs. So we've had very, very good success with this program. You do need to have a webcam to take the major exams. So I'm telling you all this now so that if your own personal computer does not work with this program for whatever reason, which is only rarely, Or if your webcam does not work, what that means is that you are going to have to find a different computer to use when taking the major exams. You can borrow someone else's exam. You can come to campus to use a computer on campus. There's a testing center you can go to on campus. There's any number of ways, but because you must have this program in order to take the tests, we're having you download it, troubleshoot it, and make sure you have the necessary technology on your home computer. And if you don't, then you'll need to find the alternative, which might be buying a webcam if you don't have one on your laptop or computer, or it might simply mean borrowing another computer when you are taking your major exams. Labs, as I mentioned, you're only going to one lab a week. These labs are scheduled for 3 hours and 45 minutes per week. To be honest, we'll probably only need about 3 hours of that period of time. However, there are a couple of weeks where we will use all of that time. So don't plan on finishing early. When we do finish early, consider it a blessing, right? It's an extra few minutes to yourself, but plan on being there the entire 3 hours and 45 minutes. But there may be some weeks where you'll get out a little bit early. Attending the lab that you are signed up for is necessary. So make sure as the semester starts that you have signed up for the lab Tuesday morning, Wednesday night, or Thursday night that you can attend every single week. If there is a conflict, email me. We'll let you attend a different lab. But once the week goes by, right, once Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday have passed by, it is not possible to make up a lab. So if you can't go on Tuesday or Wednesday, you can join the Thursday night lab. Or let's say you can't come on Thursday night, but you could come on Tuesday, and you can pre-plan that. Those are situations that are dealt with one by one, and will allow that for you to attend a different lab. That should only be done once a semester. If you miss 2 labs and you're not able to make them up, you will not receive a passing grade in Biology 152. In my 14 years here, I've only had one student who had missed 2 labs and was still passing the course. Most students who miss more than a lab are really struggling because they're behind, they're not getting the material. Make sure that you are going to lab. The other things in here, your lab instructor will go through a few more of the details about how labs work, but here's a couple very important things. At the beginning of every lab, you will turn in a pre-lab assignment. I'll go through this with you in a moment here on Blackboard. You, as part of that pre-lab assignment, will watch a pre-lab video that is posted in the lab folder. You'll upload that pre-lab assignment to Blackboard. I'll go through that with you. Your lab instructor will also help you with this in the first week if you're having trouble. This is where you'll need that program called Genius Scan. In each lab, you will take a quiz. These quizzes are worth 5 points. They are taken usually toward the beginning of lab. So if you show up late to lab and the quiz is over, and you won't be able to make it up. Any late pre-labs will not be accepted. So make sure you have your pre-labs in and make sure that you are on time so that you can take the lab quiz. Leaving early. If you know you cannot stay for the entire lab, you have 2 choices. 1, attend a different lab altogether, or come back to another lab for the second half of the lab. It's imperative that you are there for the entire lab period. There are many things to be learned during lab. Your cell phones should be off. And I say that some of you may be using your cell phone for some learning activities, and that's fine. But you should not be texting and being distracting to others and to yourself during lab. Make sure that you're using your time specifically to learn. If you are in an online lab, it is required that you have your webcam on. It's as if you were on campus in the laboratory place. Some students don't feel comfortable having their webcam on in their home. Here's what you're going to do. Find a corner of your house, or literally put up a piece of cardboard. It doesn't have to be pretty. Put up a curtain rod or a sheet or something if you need to block out a part of your family. But it is imperative that you are focused in on lab, that you minimize the distractions around you, and that you are ready to come to lab to learn. We have a number of uh, ways for you to be successful on campus. We really want to see you be successful. Here's a statistic that I want you all to hear and understand. Now, this is for nursing, but I would argue this is probably for all allied health programs. The number one predictor of success for students in a nursing program, and many of you are planning to go into the nursing program at MCC. The number one predictor of your success to get into and finish the nursing program is how well you do in this course. Students who pass Biology 152 are pretty much given a green light to continue to be successful in their nursing program. It's the number one indicator of success. So it's important that you get this foundational information and that this information is carried through into your future courses. So to help you be successful, there's a few things. On campus, we have what's called the Biology Resource Room. This is a room, room 1416. It's right over by where all the labs are. And even if you're on an online lab, you're welcome to go to campus and partake of this room. In there are models, microscopes, slides, computers, a whiteboard. This is where students work in groups or individually. And the room is open from about 8 o'clock in the morning till at least 5 in the afternoon. And if there's an evening lab going on campus, the space can be kept open as well. If you have any questions about the availability of that room, I can tell you more about it, but it's a great place to go in and study. If you just need to go someplace and get away and study, that's the number one place I'm going to recommend if you can do it during banking hours. Number two, you've been hearing a little bit about supplemental instruction. We have some fantastic supplemental instruction tutors or leaders. These are students who have taken this course, have been successful, and will then help you go through the material. Supplemental instruction will start the first week of classes. The schedule is posted. There's a supplemental instruction session on Tuesday on campus, and then there are two, one on Wednesday and one on Thursday. They are online. There's a different Zoom link for you to join those SI sessions. The first week will be more of an introduction, how to set yourself up for success, and then after that, go to SI with questions. Go to SI anticipating asking questions, and the leaders will also, they know exactly where you are in the course, and they'll be prepared to kind of give you a mini lesson on some of those topics that are really historically a challenge for students. So SI is, for most students last semester, everyone was required to go to SI. I anticipate the same this summer. Just plan on it being an extra hour of instruction and learning for you. If you need even additional help beyond what's happening in lab, the discussion sessions, and supplemental instruction, you can also reach out to the tutoring center. You can reach them by calling extension 393 or stop by room 2046, and you can set up more tutoring. There's also a tutoring link found on my MCC where you can sign up virtually for additional tutoring. Additional one-on-one tutoring does not replace SI. SI is a requirement of the course, plus extra one-on-one tutoring if you want it. And that one-on-one tutoring can also be a small group. So after you get to lab the first week, you might want to look around and say, hey, the three of you, we clearly have the same lab. Maybe we want to contact tutoring and set up a weekly tutoring session. And that'll be a great way for you to study before or after or study for labs. But I really encourage you as much as you're able. I know it's difficult with online courses and online labs, but if you are able, get together, make a study group. It can even be through Zoom. It can be through a virtual tool where you get together. I've had students get together with FaceTime and other ways of getting together in small groups. So I encourage you not to do this completely on your own. Here are, again, the list of resources. I've already mentioned them quickly, but you're going to get the code for the Blossom textbook. You're also going to get a code for Mastering AMP, the lab manual. This is the green lab manual, written by Melissa Green, but also green in color, and the Hebert Lab Atlas. These bottom three things are part of your Pearson bundle. And then there's also a lab handout that I've mentioned that you'll print out on your own. Here is the calendar. I recommend that you look at this at least once a week just to stay on target. Okay, so let's go through this. Starting on Tuesday, May 17th, notice I have the lecture schedule set up for Tuesdays, and R is an abbreviation for Thursdays. So Tuesdays and Thursdays, Tuesdays and Thursdays. You'll see that throughout the syllabus. These are the dates that I have in the syllabus as recommended days that you watch the lecture discussion videos. All of you are asynchronous for the lecture this summer. This means that there isn't a time where you go to campus and sit in a lecture room, and there isn't a time where we all meet together to discuss the material. Instead, I'll be posting videos just like this, and you'll be listening and watching and taking notes and learning. I have it set up for Tuesdays and Thursdays. It doesn't have to be on Tuesday and Thursday, but you do not want to get behind. Okay, so this is the recommended schedule to keep you moving along. As you can see today, this is the discussion for 517. In a moment, I'm going to show you where I'm going to post this video, and it'll be in the lecture portion of the course, and it will be posted where it says Tuesday, May 17th. We're doing Introduction to the course. On Thursday, I'll start with Chapter 1 from the Blossom textbook, and we'll be talking about the human body and body organizations. Next week, Tuesday, right, I'm going to be talking about cells and organelles, Chapter 3. Thursday, cellular processes, Chapter 3. Following Tuesday, Chapter 4 on histology, and then we'll get into the integumentary system on the Thursday, the 2nd of June. Going down, I have the exam dates in bold. Exam 1 is going to cover intro, basically Chapter 1, cells, that's Chapter 3, histology, Chapter 4. It's also going to cover material that you're learning in Labs 1, 2, and Lab A, plus vocab pages 1 and 2. I'll go over all of these in a moment. The exam will be online. You will have from Friday noon on June 3rd through Sunday night, June 5th, to complete that exam. It must be completed by midnight on Sunday, June 5th. I will be giving you 2 hours, a 2-hour window to start the exam. So I'll tell you a lot more about this later on, but basically you'll go into Respondus Lockdown Browser, you'll click on Exam 1, and you will have a 2-hour window in which to complete the exam. So be thinking about when you can get away and focus on taking the exam, and all of those dates are here. So exam 1 is the first weekend of June. Exam 2 is the second, or I guess the third weekend of June, June 17th through June 19. Here is the third exam, July 8 through 10. Exam 4 is July 22 to 24. And the final exam, exam 5, is the first weekend of August. Get those dates on your master calendar so that there's no surprises. Okay? In addition, so that's the lecture material on the left-hand side of this calendar. On the right-hand side is the lab schedule. So here we are, the first week of classes. We are doing lab number 1. It's going to be covering anatomical directions in microscopy. And this is material that comes from the Green Lab Manual, exercises 1 and 3. Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing when we meet either on campus or when you meet with your lab instructor via Zoom. We're going to be doing Lab 1. I'll tell you more about Lab A in a minute. I guess I can mention it now. There is a additional lab, Lab A for asynchronous. This is a lab that is not going to be covered in any of your actual lab sessions, but this is sort of like basic lab content, basic biology content, and you'll be doing this lab on your own. Okay, so I'll mention it again, but this is going to be done within the first 2 weeks. Okay, it must be done in the first 2 weeks. So while you're doing Lab 1 the first week, and while you're doing Lab 2 together in week 2, you'll also be getting Lab A completed in the background. This is done through mastering as well as some material in your green lab manual. The most important dates for the lab are as follows. The first lab exam is going to be this during your lab periods of 621, 622, or 623. So you will go to your lab either on campus or your scheduled lab time, and you will initiate the lab exam there during your lab period. And then the second lab exam is going to be down here, and this one will be a weekend exam on mastering that you can take anytime between Saturday and Sunday, July 30 and July 31. So these are the dates I really want to encourage you to get onto your master calendar. Moving on, how will you get a grade for this course? There's a lot of details here. I'm not going to read this all to you, but basically here's the breakdown. There are 1,000 points for you to earn in this course. This is an L&L course, meaning that the lab and the lecture grades are combined into one grade. There are 4 regular lecture exams, each worth 80 points. There is one final exam. There's a little bit of cumulative material on it. It's worth 100 points. There are 5 online quizzes that you'll take before each of these 5 exams. Each of those is worth 10 points. There's a short research paper. I'll tell you more about that later. That's worth 50 points. You're going to earn up to 100 points for participation. Participation grade is determined from a number of things. Those details are down here. You are required to do some homework in Mastering AMP. You're required to do some questions in the Blossom textbook. You're required to watch the pre-lab videos, attend lab, do the lab activities, and attend SI. All of those pieces and parts will be combined to creating your participation grade. I cannot emphasize enough how critical this grade is. For students who do all of those things, and it's really just doing what you're supposed to do and following along and doing what your lab instructors and what you're instructed to do, you will get full credit for participation. That is a huge grade boosting opportunity, and by doing all of these things, you will be maximally prepared for the quizzes and exams during the semester. The students who do not do the participation activities do 2 things. Number 1, they're not prepared for the exams and labs. Number 2, they lose points at the end of the semester. And nothing is more difficult, right, than to be at the end of the semester and to lose points because you didn't do the participation activities throughout the semester. So I'll continue to remind you about these things, but you get 110% of your grade is from participation. There are 12 labs throughout the semester. Each lab has a quiz worth 5 points. Each lab also has a pre-lab assignment worth 5 points. Each of the lab exams is worth 100 points. And there are 2 assignments you'll do in preparation of those lab exams called PAL, Practice Anatomy Lab, and those are each worth 10 points. And finally, in 4 of the labs, there are some dissection activities. This is both for the students in on-campus labs and for those students who are in online labs. You will be instructed to go by campus and pick up a box of anatomy supplies and a skeleton, and those dissections you'll be doing at home, and each of these dissections is worth 10 points. So all of this together is 1,000 points, and your grading scale is as follows. To earn the A in the course, you need 92% or 920 points of the 1,000. You can see the other breakdown of the grades. For this course to count toward any transfer credit, for this course to count to moving on to physiology or microbiology or any other courses, for this course to count for nursing or respiratory therapy, you need a minimum of a C. A C is a minimum of 72%. So that is your rock bottom minimum to earn in the course to continue moving on. Students who score less than 72% will need to repeat the course in order to get credit for the course. So 72% is your minimum. I wouldn't suggest that be your goal. For those of you who are traveling on or plan to transfer to Grand Valley or somewhere else in programs that are more competitive, anatomy and physiology is a critically important grade in determining your acceptance into other programs, and you certainly should be aiming for a B or higher. In fact, in very competitive programs like going on to med school, physician assistant, PT programs, those programs, you really need to be earning in the A to B plus range to be a competitive applicant for those programs. There's a whole bunch of policies that you'll read through here. Lab attendance, again, absolutely necessary. SI attendance, there will be at least 10 SI sessions throughout the semester. You can only miss 2. Okay, so you will get full credit for participation if you only miss 2 or fewer of the SI sessions. If you start missing more than 2, your participation grade will be reduced. Not hugely, but with every SI that you don't attend, you will lose points throughout the semester. The rest of the policies are standard. All of your course syllabi probably have the same exact language on them. And so this should all look very familiar. I will say this, bottom statement. If in high school or at MCC or any other college you have in the past received any sort of disability support services, extra time because you have a visual or hearing issue, or you have some sort of attention deficit or disorder, or something that affects your ability to learn, you can reach out to the Disability Support Services office. Here's their room number, here's their phone number, and see if you are eligible for any accommodation for this course. If you contact them, they will then let me know what those accommodations are. If you have received these services in the past semesters, you must reinitiate this every single semester. So just because you got services last semester, it will not happen automatically unless you contact the office once again. So that's a lot of information, but this is hopefully helping you to clarify a lot of policies. And again, this is found in the regular Blackboard shell by going to what is called combined syllabus. Let me just click on announcements here. You have been receiving a number of announcements from me. Every announcement that I post is also sent to your MCC email. I sent this one out the other day about a countdown. Here is the SI schedule for the summer. Again, Adara is in person on campus on Tuesdays from 1 to 2. This is a great time for students who have lab on Tuesday morning. You finish lab, go to lunch, and then go to SI. For students who have Wednesday online lab, you can jump into the 3 to 4 o'clock session before lab. That'd be a great time to review anything before you go into lab. Or you also, for the Thursday night students, this one is right before your lab on Thursdays, so that you can go to SI and then go right into lab. To get there, just click on this link. This big box is a link to go to that Zoom link. When you click on this, it'll ask you to register. This is going to register your attendance. Also about SI, you must attend at least 45 minutes of the hour session. If you do not attend at least 45 minutes of the SI session, it will not count as having attended SI. So make sure that you get there on time and stay the entire time. Okay, so you'll register your attendance here. Ignore this August 6th date. That's not important. That's the end date for the semester. But register your time here. Go in and you will be joining the SI session. Okay, let me see if I can get back out of here. And you've also received all of these other sessions, all these other emails. First thing to do, second thing to do, third thing to do. Those things were all mentioned in the orientation, pre-semester orientation video that was found here. So go to the Start Here folder, and I have a pre-semester orientation video. I hope you all have already watched this, and that went through all of those pre-semester announcements and helped you get started. Under lecture materials, you will see Exam 1 folder. Everything you need for Exam 1 is here. So here is, I'm going to be posting this video right here. It's going to be under Tuesday, May 17th. You'll see a link here. Then I will post a presentation that covers Chapter 1 of Blossom. I will post it here under Thursday, May 19th. I'll continue to post those lectures throughout this sequence. At the bottom of this, I have some optional videos that you might find entertaining. These are not required at all, but I would definitely recommend just jumping on a couple of these. There's some crash course A&P videos. There's other courses put out by a website called Corporus, and these are excellent resources. And these are videos that cover topics that are involved with Exam 1 materials. So this is where you'll go for Exam 1 under Lecture Materials. Under Exam Materials also, there is a folder that says Lecture Handouts. So there's a little document here on how to memorize. So for those of you who are challenged and have difficulty memorizing things, maybe read through this document. There is a document called Darley. I want to make sure that you read. There'll be a couple of questions on the first exam from this document. I'll go over that again on the presentation on Thursday. There is an honors option for this course. If you're interested in that, read through this. I won't invite anyone to honors until after the first exam, but if you're at least interested in honors, click on this and take a look. And then finally, every exam is going to have some vocabulary terms on it. Let me click on this document for you. And let's take a look at this Word document. This is a 12-page document if you print it out. And the first 2 pages are what you'll want to have for the first exam. And when this prints out, you'll see the page numbers on it. And you're going to be looking at vocabulary terms. I will, again, tell you more about this in the discussion next week, or in the lecture discussion that I'll be posting for Thursday. But there is about 500 or so terms that you'll be learning throughout the semester. And you'll be responsible for learning the prefix like carp, and know that carp means wrist, and that cat, for example, means breakdown, and that cod, as in the term caudal, means tail. So I'll be telling you more about the vocab, but that vocab list is here in the handout section of the lecture materials area. Let's keep going down. So we've looked at lecture materials. Blossom. Once you have gotten your Blossom code in the bookstore, you're going to click on that Blossom link. It's going to bring you here. You're going to just simply select Biology 152. You're going to put in the access code that you buy in the bookstore, and you're going to click on this. It's that easy. Once you do that, this is what you are going to see. So let me go to my link and show you what you're going to see in the Blossom textbook. I want to show this to you so that you kind of can get in there and know what to expect. I'll be going over chapter 1 of this on the next discussion, the next video that I'll be posting. So we're in the summer course here. Give this a moment to load up. And you are going to be taking a look. We'll take a look at the book here as it loads up. I can see that as of right now, I think 8 or 9 students have enrolled into the course, into the book. And I'll be able to follow along your participation in answering questions in this book. When this loads, you'll see that I get a metric of how each of you is doing as you are working through the material in this book. My computer's being slow, I apologize. Really slow today, apologize. But that's okay, we'll get this to load up. Here we go. So you can see, I can see students and how they're doing in working through the material in the book. So let's take a look at the Blossom textbook. You'll click on a book up here that says Open Your Course Book, and here is the book. Tomorrow, or the next lecture that I post is going to be on Chapter 1. Chapter 1 is an introduction to the human body. As you walk through this, right, and I'll go through this more carefully with you on the next lecture, but I want you to open this up, get oriented. There are the chapter objectives, and you can go through this, and you can select a few words, and you can then highlight that. You can choose what highlight color you want it to be. You can also go through and make notes to yourself about content, and then save that note, and you'll see these little notes over here. That's a great place to leave a question for yourself, a question to bring into SI. As I am going through the discussion, you can be highlighting, making notes, taking little notes about the text over here, and that is the way I definitely recommend that you use these note sections. As you go through the book, the bolded terms, there are key terms at the end of the semester that you can go down to with the definitions of all of those bolded terms. And as you read through the book, there are questions. There are some that you stop and you just simply fill in the blank that you think about. There are other questions that are multiple choice. Okay, so after reading the book, you should be able to answer these questions. I'm not even reading the question, but click on it. Let's say I'm going to go here. And whoo, I got it right. Okay. And you can go through and answer these questions. As you answer these questions, the answer will still be there for you when you log back into your book. Also, I am getting a report on how well you are answering the questions as well as your participation. So you should plan on answering all of these questions as they appear through the book. There's also some vocabulary terms, right? What does macro mean? Macro means, right? Macro means large, and micro means small. And histo, you'll learn, means tissue, and cyto means cell. So you choose those, and then great job. If you had not gotten those correct, it would say try again. So make sure that you're answering these questions are all there to help you be successful. As you finish the first section, go on to the next section. There are videos that you'll watch. Definitely watch the videos that are in the book. Okay, these videos are fantastic.
Some of the basic levels of organization within the human body include.
These videos are going to give you a visual understanding. The animations and artwork in here is phenomenal. And then there are questions along the way. These are called micro learning questions. So as you're reading, you'll have a question. Again, if you don't get it right, go back and read it again. Because if you don't get it right, you did not understand what you read before this. Okay? So all of these questions, right? Make sure that you're answering these questions. And I will be covering most of chapter 1 on the next video. And this will be posted on the Thursday schedule of the course. And then we'll continue through the book. So that is the Blossom. Again, you get there by clicking on the Blossom AMP experience, log in, and then you'll use that login to get to the course, to the book. Okay, what else do I want to show you? I know it's a lot of information, but this is all really, really important. Mastering AMP. The first time that you click on this link that says Mastering AMP, you're going to see a library of buttons. It doesn't matter what button you click on, you're going to be asked to register. Unfortunately, I can't replicate that because I'm already registered. When you click on this, it's going to ask you for one of three things. It's going to say, do you want to pay with a credit card? I would probably say no. Do you want to pay with your course code that you bought in the bookstore? The problem is that's on back order. So those two main options are not available to you. If you'll scroll down, and I can't replicate it, but if you'll scroll down from where those two options are, it's going to say put in your code or put in your credit card. Down below, it's going to say, do you want to start a 2-week free trial? Click here. It's not in big bolded letters, but there's going to be an option down there. It's going to take you 30 seconds to get enrolled into mastering. You'll click on that button. You'll put in your MCC email. You'll create a password, and you will immediately be setting up a mastering account. Once you have your mastering account set up, here's what you're going to see. It's going to look a lot like this. This is the instructor side. It's going to look a little bit different for you, but it's going to be very similar. You're going to have the option of, you're going to have these two buttons up here, and you either have a list of assignments, okay? Just a list of assignments, and it tells you the due dates, and they're in order of when they're due. Or the way I like to look at my mastering calendar, I like to literally look at the calendar. Your calendar is going to be a little bit like this, a little bit different, but still it has a calendar. Here we are. I'm recording this on Saturday the 14th. Your first lab, if you have Tuesday lab, your lab is on the 17th. Some of you have lab on Wednesday the 18th. Some of you have your first lab on Thursday the 19th. All of you are using this calendar. There are assignments due on Tuesday. These are short. Introduction assignment, I think, is 5 questions. These gap finder assignments are very, very short. You must stay current with the mastering calendar. Once the due date goes by, you can still do the assignment, but you won't get credit. All of the assignments on the mastering calendar are part of your participation grade. So you must do these assignments by the midnight of the day that they're posted. Okay, now these gap finder assignments are just what they sound like. One of these gap finders is on biology. One of the gap finders is on study skills. One of the gap finders is on cell biology. One is on math, and one is on chemistry. Those are all areas that basically we know if you have a little bit of background in those areas, some of anatomy will be easier. If you have deficits in those areas, you'll have to learn a few extra things this semester. I am just using these gap finders to find out what you know and what you don't know. Your accuracy on these is not as important as doing them. Okay, so click on these gap finder, these orange assignments, click on the blue assignments and get those done. In lab, you're going to be taking lab quiz 1. Lab quiz 1 is here, but you can't take it. See that key right there? See that little key? There's a password for lab quiz 1. So don't worry about trying to do lab quiz 1. You cannot do it until you go to your first lab. While you're in lab, your instructor will give you the password for the lab quiz 1. Okay? If you're on campus, we have laptops for you, or you can bring your own device. If you're at home, you'll be going to mastering during your Zoom session, and your instructor will give you the password. So don't worry about trying to do the quiz. You can't. You can always work ahead in mastering, but you cannot do things after they're due. You can do them, but you won't get credit. Also, in mastering, every week there is an assignment that's part of your pre-lab. It doesn't matter if you have Tuesday lab, Wednesday lab, or Thursday lab. You're going to find your pre-lab assignment for mastering here on Thursday. Keep in mind, everybody in the course is using the same mastering calendar. So everyone is going to see this assignment posted here on Thursday. There's the pre-lab for next week for pre-lab 2. Here's the pre-lab 3. You can't see those on your calendar yet, but I can see them, that they'll be there for you. Typically, things are posted in mastering at least 1 week in advance. So I recommend that you click on mastering once or twice a week. Make sure that you know what's coming. Make sure that you set aside time to click into mastering and do these assignments. Chrome is the preferred browser for mastering. Chrome is the preferred browser for Blossom. Okay, and for everything at MCC, Chrome is the optimal browser. If you use Firefox, if you use Safari for Mac, if you use any other browser, you might have trouble running your programs. So make sure that you have downloaded Chrome and are using that. Even those who are using Mac, use Chrome as your browser. Some of these things will not work fully if you're not using Chrome. So definitely click into mastering, get that 2-week assignment or get that 2-week free membership set up. And then when the course pack and everything's available in the bookstore, you'll get your permanent number and you'll be able to flip over your temporary account very, very easily. So that is mastering. Let's go through the lab materials and we'll be pretty much done. So lab materials, you are all going to be going to lab either online or on campus. Here, as I click on that lab materials navigation bar, here's what you see. First thing is you are going to print out this lab handout. I recommend that you do it double-sided and that when you're done, you get it 3-hole punched. If you use this quick copy request form, you can have the campus print this for you. Click on here, attach this folder, request that it's double-sided, request that they do 3-hole punching, and you can pick it up on campus the next day. All of those rules are mentioned here when you click on this link. You can also print this at home. You can also print this in the library, for example, at MCC. If, again, you can't get all of it printed before the first lab, make sure you have at least the first 12 pages printed out for the first lab. Okay? If you are in an online lab, if you're on Wednesday night with Dana or myself on Thursday night, this is the link you will go to. Click on this link at the right time and have your webcam on and join the lab session. If you are in the face-to-face lab with Dr. Curtis, you don't go to Zoom. Instead, you'll report to campus Tuesday morning at 9:05. Here is the folder for Lab 1. So you go into the Lab 1 folder and everything you need for Lab 1 is here. You'll start lab by clicking and watching this video. Every lab starts off with a video. I am able to track whether or not you are watching these videos. You must watch these videos to get your optimal participation score. These videos also help you get incredibly well grounded and know exactly what to do, and it gives you all the background information you need to be successful for the lab. The notes and the PowerPoints that are presented in this video are posted right below this. So if you want to follow along with the PowerPoint notes, here they are. Here are the pre-lab instructions. Now, the pre-lab instructions are also included in the course pack that you're printing out, that 65 or so page document. But here is a copy of that. So let's take a look at this. This is a fillable form, so you can fill it out right here and you can save it to your computer. Put your name and the date and your lab period. And then everything that you need to do is highlighted here. Before you go to Lab 1, you should watch the lab assistant video. Okay, and that lab assistant video, let's back out of here. The lab assistant video is posted right here. Watch this lab safety video. Okay, so if it ever says watch a video for your pre-lab, that video will also be posted. You just click on it and watch the video. There's another video on microscopy that you're being instructed to watch here. So let's go back into this. So you're going to watch that lab assistant video. If you watch it, give yourself half a point. Then you're going to do some pages from the green lab manual. You're going to do pages 3, pages 4, page 5, page 6 through 7, and green page 11 through 18. Now, the green, and then you're going to watch the other video on microscopy. Remember, these pages you don't yet have. Most of you don't have the lab manual because it's on back order. So how are we going to fix that? Go down here, and I have posted the entire activity. Okay, so you click on this PDF, and here is a copy of the lab manual. You will need to complete the pages that it requests. So it said to do these pages, right? These pages were the ones you would fill out for your pre-lab. You can print out these limited pages. If you don't have a printer at home, you can also just print all of these questions out and write them on a piece of paper if that's easier for you. And then it said also do pages 11 through 18. Those are all here. Okay, so 11 through 18, here they are. So 11 or 13 through 18, I guess. So you'll fill out these tables. All of this is to be done before you go to lab. This is your pre-lab assignment. So you'll see that I have posted the complete chapter 1 and the complete chapter 3. These are the 2 units or the 2 exercises from the green lab manual that we're doing this week. Let's go back to the pre-lab. So in addition to watching those 2 videos and doing the work, like there's a couple questions on page 2, in addition to filling out pages 3 through 18, watching that video on microscopy and doing page 62, you're also going to go back into mastering and you're going to complete that assignment on the mastering calendar that's called Pre-Lab 1. Remember, that's what you saw. Go back into mastering and it was on Thursday of the week, and you're going to complete this assignment. If after completing this assignment, you're going to go to an area in mastering called your scores, you're going to look up and see what grade you got, and let's say you earned an 88.5% on this assignment, then you're going to record that you earned 0.885 out of 1. The mastering assignment that you do for your pre-labs is graded on accuracy. So you will record the actual grade that you got. Everything else up here is graded on completion. So if you completed exercises 1E and 1F found on page 5, give yourself half a point. If instead, and if you did exercise 1G on pages 6 and 7, give yourself half a point. Notice that this is going to auto add up your points. Your pre-lab is worth a total of 5 points. You can save this. You can take a picture of this with your Genius scan. And what you'll do is read through the instructions down here. You are going to use Genius Scan to take a picture of pages 2 through pages 18, also page 62. And you're going to upload that. So where do you upload that? So let's look at this. It says turn in pre-lab 1. It's in red. And it tells you you must scan all the pre-lab pages using Genius Scan in the order that they're presented. And you're also going to take a picture of your pre-lab instruction page, and you're going to upload these files. Okay, and I will receive that on the other side. Your lab instructor will receive that on the other side, and you will get up to 5 points for your pre-lab. Every single week there will be a similar pre-lab assignment. Things to do in green, things to do on mastering, videos to watch, and you'll upload that before you either walk into lab on Tuesday mornings or before you attend your Zoom session. Late pre-labs are not accepted. Now, for the first week, we'll give some grace. If you're having any technical problems, your lab instructor will help you with that. But after week 1, any late lab, pre-lab is not given credit. Okay, so make sure you get these done before. That's why they're called pre-lab, right? They're done before you go to lab. There is a lab safety agreement. This is also a fillable form. You'll upload that to a different place right here, right? So you'll fill this out, save it to your computer, and upload it here. In the instructions for the semester, you were asked to do your Padlet introduction. Click on this big box. You'll go to Padlet. There was a hiccup in this on day 1 that I realized. Thank you. Some of you let me know. And some of you I can see are starting to fill this out. And you can see that. So as it says up here, tell us, your name, give us a picture, a short bio, give us some interesting facts about yourself, why you're taking the course, what your future goals are. It's just a great way. Your instructors have already given their little bio, and you just click on the plus button down here, upload your picture, fill in a little bit of information about yourself, and this will be available for you all semester for you to go back and review and get to know your classmates. And it also is a great thing for the lab instructors to get to know all of you. Okay, so I'll be looking at that often to learn about each and every one of you as we go through the semester. So also in your course pack, there is a page that you'll see what you need to learn for each lab. And this is all part of your course pack that you're printing out. So your lab instructor will go through all of those goodies. So your job really is to get in here, click around, get into the lab folder, right? And we see that this week, here's everything for lab 1. Then here's everything for lab 2. And I briefly mentioned lab A. This is the asynchronous lab. There is another lab that basically you're going to be doing in the background over the next 2 weeks. If you want to get started on this, I encourage you to do that so it doesn't become overwhelming. It gives you some reading here. Here are the instructions. There is a video to watch. There is a pre-lab to upload. All of those same normal things that you're doing for labs, all of that is here. So if you want to get started on that, fantastic. If you do a little bit every day, it won't seem overwhelming. And go ahead and get started on lab A. Get lab 1 done first, make that a priority, then start working on lab A. And that lab A is due by the end of the 2nd week of classes. So if you get started now and do a little bit every day, it won't seem overwhelming at all. So I think that brings us pretty much to the end of this time. Looking at the navigation bar. If you're doing the online Zoom sessions, you'll click here. I think I already went over that. And in the Start Here box, don't forget there's that pre-semester orientation video. This is where you'll also read about Respondus Lockdown Browser. You'll take a practice quiz to make sure your computer is set up. This is where you'll also find the link for the pre-semester My Readiness test that you're all required to take. This is where your FERPA agreement is, your lab safety agreement, all sorts of goodies are here, okay, about that. And so look through this folder as well. And I look forward to meeting all of you through different interactions this semester, and be looking for the next video that is going to be covering the first lecture content. And I'll post that under the Thursday spot under lecture materials under exam 1. I look forward to seeing you all soon.